right, let's get this show on the road. Welcome to Torn Tuesday, your weekly dose of all things Lord of the Rings. My name's Justin.
And my name is Clifford, and you are here at theonering.net. We are the biggest and the most comprehensive Tolkien web portal on the entire internet, and we've been here for about 22 odd years. Even though that's an even number, it's always odd to me. Welcome, everyone, once again, to a weekly dose of all things Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, unfinished tales, and obviously lots of energized conversation about Prime Video's The Rings of Power, a beautiful, sumptuous television show that yet still has managed to be a lightning rod of interesting debate and no small amount of, well, as my friend Prince from Minneapolis once said, controversy. So anyway, here we are at Torn Tuesday. And do we have any controversial news up front?
Oh my God, we have so
any?
much. We have so much legit news and maybe a little bit of gossip, but a lot of confirmed actual news that
Let's
could
do it.
be good news or bad news. But Cliff,
Oh my goodness.
Cliff, I wish you were awake this morning because our Discord was on fire.
Well, the Discord was on fire, yes. Well, I was a little bit under the weather this morning, a tiny bit under the weather. And here you are, Justin, you're back. So tell me, did I miss some little fire and brimstone going on
Well,
in the Discord? Or was it more like people just slapping at each other? Like,
we keep telling you every week. Our Discord is so active
that's
every
true.
single day
That's
with
true.
gossip and rumors and leaks and
Yes.
we know for sure that certain people on the crew are in our Discord. Whether they're watching all of this fan debate, I don't know, but it's been so much fun. So shout out to all of our friends over there, and you can see them in the chat once in a while. Scroll up. Leia is in there. Hey,
Yes, that's
what
right.
is
Hey,
happening?
you
Oh,
and
you
I
know
are
what
having
happened? You know why this
connection
camera?
issues.
No, you
What's
know
wrong with your
what?
camera?
You know what's going on is that I have my camera currently set up on a backup USB HDMI capture card
Oh, I see. I
because
see.
my main video input is still on my Xbox. Remember when we were looking at the DVD menus?
Oh, yes, yes, I
So
do remember now.
I
Yes,
want
that's right.
before I disconnect the Xbox and the DVD menu stuff, I wanted to ask the chat room, would you guys want to see an episode in the next week or two, maybe, of us going through all of the old DVDs, the theatrical cut, the extended cut, the Blu-ray,
Oh,
the
yes,
4K,
yes,
and like
yes.
let's just look at all the menus and all the bonus features on all the different versions of all
Hmm.
of these movies. There's
Well, I think it's
like
an appropriate task in front of us because this is, in 2023, the last 20th anniversary of the Rings trilogy, because this was the last 20th anniversary for the Return of the King. So we might as well celebrate and take a
we
really
got a whole
delicious.
year to do it, but as long as
Yeah,
I
we got
have
a whole year.
everything set up and all the technical jiggery pokery kind of working,
Yes.
is this a show that would be of interest to our chat room to kind of see what has come before? Because I know a lot of you weren't of age or maybe even alive when the DVDs came out. I wish I still had my VHSs. I don't have my VHS. Um, and look, we don't
That's
want to
funny. It's funny
get.
talking to a fan. When I'm at a convention or at San Diego Comic Con, and suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, when that original movie came out, you were an ovum when that movie came out. It's so funny, but it also proves what we've always said. The excellence of a good Tolkien adaptation reinvigorates the fan base, and it brings a wild new energy and a population of new readers who get interested in the property and in the world of Middle Earth that the way they've never been interested before. So it is a really useful litmus test to see how good is your adaptation.
Did you
It's going
guys?
to equate to
Yeah.
how many new readers you bring in to the world. Yeah.
Well, did you guys enjoy seeing the bonus features of the theatrical full screen pan and scan version of Two Towers, the definitive version, my definitive version of the Two Towers is the one I saw in theaters. And this one it was made for televisions with a 4:3 aspect ratio. That's what we previewed a couple weeks ago. If you guys enjoyed that show and enjoyed seeing Billy Boyd, Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd's short film, or Sean Astin's short film,
That was Sean's
it
film.
was
Yeah, that was
Sean's,
fun.
and we
That was
got to
fun.
see Emiliana Torini's music video, which you had
Which
never seen before.
I never thought they bothered to make one, really, because because they had
I've got it on
lost the
DVD.
original. It's so funny you have it because I thought they'd lost the original recording artist, Bjork, and then they weren't going to do any filming with Emiliana, and yet they did. So there you go. Yeah,
All
the
right, all
answers.
right.
Look at the
Everyone in the
answers.
chat room, everyone in the chat
Look at
room is
the
like,
answers.
yes, we're interested. So, all right, I'm going to
Yes,
keep everything set up. So I
that settles
apologize
that.
if my camera
That settles
goes
that.
out during this show. It's kind of on a cheap HDMI adapter. I haven't left the show because I'm the one streaming it.
You're
So
so funny, dude.
yeah.
You're
Um,
so
so
funny.
there we go. Now, Cliff, I got breaking news. I haven't told you
Tell
this.
me.
Breaking news.
I love it when you do this to me.
I
So
just I just
yes,
I've just
yes.
heard from those in the know
Yeah.
that it's been promised to us for nearly 4 months now. Let's see, when did Rings of Power end its run? At the end of August?
Was it first week of September?
September?
I
October. It was
think.
October. So
All right.
end
Okay.
of October, and then November, December. We're here in January. We're 3 months out. Uh, it is uploading right now as we speak. Nerd of the
No.
Rings is publishing his epic 1 hour, 15-minute review of season one
Wow.
of the Rings of Power.
Wow. How cool is that going to be? That's
I haven't,
awesome.
I haven't, we haven't done a full video, a full show, like breaking down our thoughts of the whole season. I still stand by
We
my
did a report card.
review on we did a report card. Okay, well,
Mhm.
yeah, we did that. Okay, we did the
We
report card.
did.
I still
We
stand
did.
by my review of the two-part pilot directed by J.A. Bayona that I published. It was very enthusiastic. I still stand by that, and I think Matt, Nerd of the Ring, still stands by his. Cliff, we did our report card, but is there anything else that you have to say about the whole season in general? Will we be seeing a season one review, proper,
Yes.
written
Yes.
from you?
Yes. Yes, I do. And yes, you will. And it might not be like a 12-page Sunday magazine type of spread. It might be, you know, short enough and succinct enough to get the point across. And there's a few salient points that I will definitely like to discuss when I print my online review. Yes, the
Yes.
answer is yes.
Of
The
Gondor
the
says
answer is usually yes. Usually.
everyone has thoughts on it, and I think a lot of us in the fandom, we have opinions on it, and we just wanted to take a breath, take a moment, maybe let the show sit with us, maybe revisit it over the holidays. And there's Mithrandir, the
There's
cat.
Mithrandir. He just had a very satisfying dinner, and yet now he's here to insist on more attention and more things like that, I
Cliff,
guess. Come here, little man. This guy.
Pipsky says she just watched the Two Towers extended edition on the big screen at Alamo
Oh,
Drafthouse this last weekend.
oh no, come on, Pipsquay. That's legendary. That is so awesome that you were there. Ah, oh, I wish I had been there. That must have been quite an excellent experience to be
Leia
that crowd.
Undomio asks,
Nice.
is there any chance we'll get merch? Uh, I think we've talked about this on the show before.
Not
Amazon does
now.
not have merch rights. You know who has merch
It's
rights? The new owners of Lord of the Rings,
the Embracer group.
the Embracer Group. So that
Yep.
that company, which bought out Middle Earth Enterprises, which was the name of Saul Zaentz Incorporated,
Hmm.
who inherited from J.R.R. Tolkien's contract himself. So
Hmm.
Saul Zaentz was still alive when Peter Jackson's movies were coming out. So Saul Zaentz had all of the merch rights, all the theme park rights, all the movie rights, and then he
Hmm.
said he gave Warner Brothers the movie rights, but he still made all the merch. Or Warner Brothers and him made all the merch. The merch rights are
Hmm.
still with Saul Zentz.
Hmm.
Amazon only has new television rights. The merch rights are still with Saul Zantz, which is Middle Earth Enterprises, which is now the Embracer Group. So now that there's a new owner, Amazon and Embracer Group have to hold hands.
And negotiate a new deal, in essence, to get merchandise made relative to their streaming platform show. Is that
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
do understand that right. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
all right. So
Well,
before
what do you
before
know?
before we get into so much Lord of the Rings stuff, I want to know, Cliff. Uh,
Hmm.
there are two huge new Warner Brothers TV shows that debuted this week. Did you watch either Velma, the Scooby Doo spinoff, or The Last of Us, based on the video game?
I am going to watch The Last of Us tonight. That is tonight's required viewing for tonight. And I was going to save it because there's a good friend who wants to watch, and we're going to watch together and relax and enjoy. Um, the problem with Velma should be a whole brand new TV series all its own. The problem with Velma, that's my if I was rewriting the series or making a new one, that's what I would call it. Because I did want to give it a chance. I'm an animation buff, big time, big time aficionado of animation, and I wanted to see what these classic Hanna-Barbera characters ended up like with this new funny, twisted reworking. I thought to myself in the back of my head, well, they did such a great job with Poison Ivy. Everyone loved what HBO Max had done with the Poison Ivy animated series. Excuse me, it's Harley Quinn. That's my personal joke. Because the entire series is not really about Harley Quinn. It's about Harley Quinn and Ivy and Poison Ivy. And I thought maybe if they did that great of a job with the Harley Quinn series, then we'll give
So
Velma
your
a
final
chance.
result on that?
And the final result on giving Velma a chance is that I'm not going to watch any more episodes at all. It's really flat comedy that's not comedic. In in 2 episodes runtime, I only chuckled once, and that was a small, appreciative laugh. I didn't have any. There was no interest in the way the characters are approached. That's just unrecognizable to me as a property relative to, Scooby Doo, Where Are You, which I grew up with, right? Um, Not to press the button any older than I am, but the original TV series came on the air in 1969. Scooby Doo, Where Are You came on the air in 69 when I was just an infant. I was a newborn baby and I was watching it as an infant. So,
And Casey
I,
Kasem was the voice, but now
and
Casey
yeah, and
Kasem is dead, so
he's gone. But
he couldn't reprise his voice.
the animation is attractive and the colors are interesting and the character design is pretty fun. But I can't recommend Velma because the flat, unfunny, and I mean really unfunny, not interesting approach to the writing. It's all the writing. They've got something that looks decent and it could have been very promising, but once again, we're looking at the writers and saying, why did you do that? So, anyways, that's
Well,
my
I'm
opinion
looking
on
forward
Velma.
to hear
That's my
what you have to
opinion.
say with Last of Us. I never played the game. I don't think you've played the game, but as the Twitter videos that I saw, the
Hmm.
entire most of the first episode of The Last of Us on HBO is a shot-for-shot remake of the b best parts of the video game. The intro to the video
Nice.
game is basically like the first mission of the video game is basically a shot for shot is made for shot for shot in this TV show. So the creators of The Last of Us TV show have made an extra effort to pay homage to the original, and which is award-winning, best-selling, and a beloved video game. And they just said, let's just film that, and that's what they did. And I honestly, I got the sense
Hmm.
from the care and passion that they put in the first hour of The Last of Us, the same care that Peter Jackson put in the first hour of Fellowship and the first hour of The Hobbit. That
Okay.
first hour of The Hobbit, where we have two songs
Yeah.
two songs of the Dwarves. We got we got throwing dishes and bending forks and blunting knives and
And a tragic backstory of the dwarves of Erebor as well.
yeah,
Yes,
like
yes,
we got the best of the book, The Hobbit. We got the best of the animated Hobbit, and the first hour of The
yes.
Hobbit is just so perfect
An
with
unexpected journey.
uh,
Yes,
uh,
yes.
yeah, and with embellishments that is only a film of that magnitude could do. So
Right,
if
right.
so, there's something to be said about The Last of Us, the first hour of The Last of Us, uh, being a shot-for-shot remake of one of the most beloved video games of the last 10 years, and
Hmm.
and the loyalty of
Hmm.
The Hobbit. And
That is
honest,
a ringing endorsement. May I say? That's quite an endorsement. For you
it's a great
to
show.
connect the dots that way, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
I'm hearing you now. Yeah.
it's a great show, and honestly, like uh,
Mm.
uh, Rings of Power almost got there. Again, I gave a glowing review of the two-part pilot of Rings of Power by J.A. Bayona, directed by J.A.
Oh,
Bayona. You could
yeah.
see that there was a
Yeah.
lot of talent and skill and effort put into the
Hmm.
writing and the storytelling and the directing and the crafting of that show, but it wasn't Fellowship level or it wasn't Unexpected Journey level Middle Earth because there was too much deviation from
Hmm.
what we know of the books. So there's something to be said about getting everybody on board in the first go. Like those first couple episodes, you have to be as faithful and loyal to the source material. Like
Hmm.
get everybody on your side before you start introducing uh,
Wild deviations?
wild deviations.
Did someone say that? Okay.
So
Well, to compare the first hour of Fellowship and the first hour of An Unexpected Journey as the most inviting, it is the great success of PJ and company and Weta and everybody working together, especially Howard Shore. And it's because they are able to use that first hour as the most immersive entry point into the world of Middle Earth. And Rings of Power also succeeded in its early 2 hours at being so immersive and lovely and really, I mean, such an attractive show. Something that's just so beautiful, and you just want to get into it. You want to soak yourself, you want to soak your nails in it, Madge. I'm
and
making a
and and
joke,
and you know what?
an
The
old
Hobbit
joke.
trilogy is a slow fade from loyalty because by the third movie, Cliff doesn't care at all. Like
No, no. Look, okay, look. You want to compare second episodes of the trilogy and how weird and awkward they can be? We can compare Attack of the Clones with The Desolation of Smaug any day you want to do that. But
shoot, we can compare
that's
Two
not today's
Towers.
show.
Two
Okay, well
Towers
no,
is unrecognizable from the book.
no, The Two Towers is recognizable from the book. It's just that they restructured a bunch of stuff at the end of Two Towers with Frodo and Sam and Shelob and put it in the front of
Frodo,
Return of the
Sam,
King.
Shelob, Faramir,
Oh,
Aragorn
that
falling off a
stuff.
cliff, the horse waking up Aragorn. Like,
Do you know
should I
what?
keep going?
Every time I think about Isildur getting crushed under the burning embers of that house on the show, I keep thinking, your friend took a little tumble off the cliff.
I guarantee
Because
you the
you know it's
hit
a
Beric.
fake death.
I guarantee you the horse that they set up in episode whatever of Rings of Power, the horse is going to find Isildur in
Yes.
the now Mordor, even though no one said the word Mordor. So how do they know to call it Mordor?
I
So
know, I
the
know, I
horse is
know.
gonna find Isildur just like the horse found Isildur's heir 1,000 years later. So
It's
it's
so
so
funny. Yeah,
predictable.
it
It's
is funny.
so yeah.
Um, but look, I blame Peter Jackson for doing all those fake outs. There was a bunch of like, oh, somebody's gotten hurt, someone's dead. No, they didn't. It's a fake out. He did it in the moment in the chamber of Mazarbul where the troll skewers Frodo, and
Oh yeah.
everybody in the audience is supposed to think, oh, he just took that shot and he's gone. He's gone. But that's where the beginning, and there's over and over again these repeat moments where PJ gives us a fake out.
Oh, look who
So
just joined us in the chat. Nerd of the Rings is asking, how does Justin know what's recognizable from the books? Haha,
yeah,
very,
thank you,
very
Matt.
funny.
Thank you,
I've been
Matt. Nerd of the
doing,
Rings.
the only reason I know is
Good to
because
see
I've
you.
been doing 550 episodes of this show with this guy. So everything I know from the books, I've learned from this guy over the last 10, 11 years, however long we've been doing it. So if you don't believe me, then blame him because he taught me everything I know. Cliff, we have our
That's funny.
first little gossip here. I want to get we teased this last week, and I wanted to get feedback from the chat room, folks.
Hmm.
Um, is this actor who was just cast officially by Amazon announced this actor? I forget his name. He looks absolutely like Celeborn.
He does.
Um,
In
guys,
the same way that Matt Poulter, we were looking at the early castings of Matt Poulter,
Will
and we were
Poulter, yeah.
looking at, I mean, Will, sorry, I meant to say Will Poulter, and we thought the same thing. Gosh, he could do those Hugo Weaving eyebrows. We really
Well,
thought that.
so
That's what we
so
thought.
yeah, so this actor who hasn't been named yet for what his character will be, side by side is a spitting image
Hmm.
to Martin Sokus, right? Is that who played
Hmm.
Celeborn
Yes,
in
that is
Peter
correct.
Jackson's movies? Uh,
Yes.
well, we have new gossip here.
Oh
Uh,
dear.
Possible code name for Celeborn. Here it is. Almost
Code name.
confirmation. Dr.
Oh,
Nosy.
Tyra. His
Uh,
code name is Tyra.
his code name Jove.
Jove,
We have,
as in
according to
by
Doctor,
Jove.
yeah, according to Doctor Nosy, who's got some spies of her own or their
Oh,
own.
oh, that's
His
fun.
name is Jove. He's got a code name, and she's absolutely certain that this is Caliborn has a code name. So there we have it, Cliff.
Wow.
I'm officially calling this an official rumor. Caliborn is coming in season two,
I love
and
it.
he is being played by this actor. So uh,
I
uh,
love that. That is so
the chat
cool.
room is saying his codename should be Telephone, which is very close to his Elvish name, Cliff, which would be,
Teleporno.
well, there you go.
In Quenya, by the way. That's the difference between Cinderin and Quenya. A lot. There's a lot of difference between Cinderin and
Uh,
Quenya.
Cliff,
Anyways, how funny is that?
talk to me a little bit about Elvish names. Why is Celeborn also called Teleporno?
Because the language is different. Quenya and Cinderin are different Elvish languages. They have different systems that have different root stems and a different a very carefully thought out linguistic history. And that's what Professor Tolkien was all about. He gave the elves enough breathable time in a massive scale of history that there could be variations from Quenya, which is regarded as Latin, or like if you were speaking in High Latin, you're in the highest end of Quenya land. But Sindarin is more like the everyday, oh,
So
they're
is it
more common elves who never saw the light of the two trees who are speaking Sindarin.
the chat room wants to know, Cliff, is it kind of like Welsh versus Scottish versus Irish Gaelic?
It's more like English versus Latin. There's some similar roots. A lot of English has lots of French and Roman roots, and there's French uh, uh, language stems that come from the Indo-European background. A lot of other things that I think make it an easier comparison to Latin. I think
All right.
Quenya is
So
more
so
comparable like that.
all right, so come along with me on this journey because we've got Celeborn pretty much confirmed for season two. He's got an other name, an Elvish name
Oh,
called
but
Teleporno.
Atalante is good in the chat room by reminding us in Quenya it is silver, like tel teleperion.
All right.
Teleperion, right? That's so the root of the word is silver. So I think that it might refer to his silver hair.
Well, so let me ask you
silver
this:
haired.
if elves have different names for the same person, do dwarves have their own names for their own cultures?
Yes. Yeah, the elves have their own names for everything. In fact, it's the
But do
historical
dwarves?
the dwarves, yeah, the dwarves have their own naming system for everything. They have their own secretive language.
So on Reddit this week, someone posited this theory. In episode 7, when Elrond and Durin are digging in the mithril mines and they get caught, Durin, Kid Durin, young Durin, confides in Elrond that dwarves have secret family names. Elrond interrupts him and tells him to keep it for a future conversation.
Mhm.
So there's the setup that
Yes.
Durin has a nickname. Later on in the episode, when Daddy Durin argues with his son, he ends up removing the thing on his engraved plate. It says it's not yours anymore. And finally, toward the end of episode 7, Dissa discusses with her husband that he will be the king and not your brother. So the question is, Cliff, the theory is from Reddit.
Mm.
Could Durin, as we know him right now, that we all fell in love with, could he be actually named Narvi in the Dwarvish tongue?
Oh, no, I don't think that confusion would happen at all. A dwarf given the name of Narvi that is recorded in Elvish history, as we know it, has come to us through the stories of the Third Age and the Lord of the Rings. That means the elves knew his common name as Narvi. So, no, I do not think that's a possible connection to secrecy. Secret alias of Prince Durin the Fourth. No, I don't
Well,
buy it.
if he's just been stripped at the end of the season, Durin has been stripped of his princely title. So
Ah, yes,
what if
yes.
Prince Durin the Fourth is the full stripped thing, and so he has to start going by his original Dwarven name. He's already
Hmm.
told Elrond that he has another Dwarven name, and Elrond's like,
Hmm.
save it for another day. Would
Hmm.
you be okay with the dwarf that we fell in love with on season 1 becoming Narvi, a friend of the elves who ends up building the magic doors that the Fellowship eventually take advantage of?
No, I think that's a cockamamie idea. But no, I'm not on board with that theory. That doesn't work for me. It's intriguing that Magicus in the live chat has just said that the true secret dwarf names are not even recorded on their tombs. Not even on their tombs, which
Really?
was, yes, which was actually Professor Tolkien covering for Balin's name being on his tomb. So Balin's name was recorded on the tomb as Balin, but not his secret name. So no, I don't buy this theory. That kind of knowledge is meant to add to the esoteric, mystery of dwarves referring to one another with some kind of linguistic secrecy, really. It's not a theory that I would buy into. No, you seem kind of like you're turned on by the idea, Justin, that you think Narvi is going to show up and it's going to be what, the rehabilitation tour of Prince Durin? Is
Well,
that what you
look,
think?
I just remember when I watched Lord of the Rings 20 years ago, I was so confused on why everyone was calling that Gandalf Mithrandir and Olorin and all these other names and Greybeard and Stormcrow. Oh, no,
Mhm.
no, Stormcrow. Why was everyone calling Gandalf all these different names? So I was confused then. So you've caught me up now on why there are different names. We've just explained Celeborn and Teleporno. Everyone has different names. Are you
But that
prepared?
was but that name, that other alternate name of Celeborn, which was pointed out by Otaku Senpai in the chat, says that that name only exists in the alternate reality, a different alternate draft of the story, where Celeborn was from the Undying Lands, and he was not a Sindarin, not a Sinda elf. So yeah, I appreciate that our live chat people are keeping everybody's brain in check. I really appreciate you guys. I can see you.
All
Lots
right.
of love to you guys in the chat.
That's
But
that. So that's the conversation on Reddit. Also, what happened this week? Oh, we'll show you that in a minute. Guess what started shipping? The Rings of Power vinyl record. You can see it's this beautiful gold
oh, oh,
pressing from
how
Mondo.
about that? How
Mondo
about that?
Tees, who was recently bought out by Funko. So I guess Funko Pops now are the distributor of uh, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 1, soundtrack by Bear McCreary, main title by, of course, Howard Shore, comes in a beautiful, shiny gold vinyl pressing. Here it
Oh, that's
is on
nice.
two different Redditors turntables. Um, and it delivers the goods. What can I say? If you are
Wow.
a completionist and you have Howard Shore's Lord of the Rings vinyl soundtracks, which are incredibly expensive, you need
Yes, yes.
you need this season one record. But the big juicy thing is our pals over at Fellowship of Fans got a hold of sneak photos of a new set being built for season two. Those are
Ooh,
white castle
ooh,
walls.
ooh. How about that?
So let me see if I can bring this up full screen. Folks, Cliff, I wanted to get your opinion. What area? This does not look like anything we've seen in season one. What area of Middle Earth would have thatched huts next to white stone?
Uh, hmm,
Or maybe it's
hmm.
two different sets. No, I don't think so because there's a river. If you can barely see it on here, but there's a water feature. There's a river, and this is a dock, right? There's a dock. Um, so there's a river. There's a dock in front of these places.
Hmm.
Is it
Pelargir.
Pelargir? Is it
Yeah, I was just about to say
Vroon?
that. No, I was just about to say that might be Pelargir.
Well, tell me, what is Pelargir?
Okay, well, it is the Sindarin word. It's an Elvish word, like most of these things are. Pelargir was the great port. It was the river, the port of Gondor that would be the future place of Gondor. And it is a harbor. It's also the city and the settlement. Obviously, look, is this on a river? So that settles that. Look at that. And like, congratulations to Fellowship of Fans for getting these excellent spy reports. Really wonderful. But the this was a city, a harbor city that was located above the delta of the Anduin River, the Great River. And yet it was just a little bit south of the White Mountains. I'm dropping some wisdom here from the
Oh, someone in the chat
LOTR.
room says, "Is this where the Ghost Army lands in Return of the King movie?"
Yes, but where the ghost
Interesting.
where the Ghost Army lands in the Return of the King movie was completely shifted. They changed the geography to make them come and arrive up to Minas Tirith. Um,
But they land at a dock, right? With like
oh,
the it,
you mean where Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn confront them before and they shoot Peter Jackson in the chest with an arrow?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is supposed to be what you would think would be Pelargir.
Okay.
Um, and in the Return of the King extended edition, you can see a lot of the buildings are burning. I think they're burning on the coast. But it says right here that Pelargir was built in the Second Age 2350. During the years of Numenor's moral decline, it became the chief haven of the faithful. That's right, Elendil and Isildur and Anarion and, the people who were faithful to the Valar as they migrated to escape the persecution that they were facing on the island of Numenor from the king's men, who were being faithful to Pharazôn and Sauron and doing all that Morgoth worship. So, when Numenor fell and was completely destroyed, the force of the storm changed the coastline, and where Pelargir had been fairly close to the sea, from then on it was relocated almost 50 miles upstream. And the city subsequently became the principal port for the newly founded kingdom of Gondor. All right, there
All
you go.
right, there it is.
That's what we got.
Varking is in the chat room, Cliff, on our
Hello,
Discord.
Varking.
Varking says in an article or a podcast, one of the showrunners said they actually filmed the scene where he tells him his name, and it's basically Glassbeard.
Glassbeard.
In the RadioTimes.com, Payne then claimed that the prince's real name was something resembling Keled Tug.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
this is back on Owain Arthur. Oh, this is back on Durin.
Okay.
Durin's real name is Keled Tug. And um, Strongbeard says, the more I see of Owain Arthur's Durin the Fourth in The Rings of Power, the more I'm impressed by the outstanding acting. Trivia. Apparently, Durin, inner name in the series is Keled Turg, which is glass beard. Linking to the
Oh.
episode 7, Something Inside You Was Ill-Formed scene.
Oh, intriguing. Wow.
So,
That's pretty cool
so
to
are we
learn that.
putting a quash? We're putting a quash on his Narvi.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no, come on. You
Yep.
need to put
It's
that to bed. Put that
put
to
it to bed.
bed.
Narvi is a whole.
Put that to
Here's the
bed.
thing, Cliff. The reason I wanted that to be true is because this series has too many characters and actors already. Calm you down. Like bring it back to like some I can focus on. Like there's too much going on. I don't. Do I need to? I'm going to be introduced by twice as many characters next season, and
That's
I'm not even ready for that yet. Uh,
welcome to the Two Towers. That's what happens when you need lots of new characters and new places and new kingdoms with new hierarchies and new, conflicts. All these new elements of the story are going to come for us in
well,
season two.
I'm excited for these photos of this River City. I think you're right. I think the internet's right. I think the chat room is right. What you described as Pelargir, it's a second age city.
Hmm.
It's the first port of Gondor. In these
Hmm.
photos, we've already
What
seen
will
that
become
there are
future Gondor?
yeah,
Yes.
future Gondor. We've already seen
Yes.
in these photos that there is a dock. It's meant to be along a river or something.
Hmm.
So there is a
I,
dock. There is
yep.
a
Oh,
Numenorian type architecture with white stone.
that represents maybe that was a possible early settlement. Maybe. I mean, from Rings of Power perspective, within the internal logic of the show, I think that set is suggesting that there was even Bronwyn is saying it's a settlement down there on the river. So maybe that was an early Numenorian settlement.
Oh, Cliff of Gondor gave us a joke in the chat room, but I want to ask you this. Is the one door that we saw in Rings of Power that Elrond and Celebrimbor try to come in through, is that the only door to Moria? Or
Oh no, there's the other gate, the east gate on the other side of the mountains where the Fellowship runs away to escape after encountering the Balrog.
so there's no chance that they build the magic doors of Narvi to keep the Balrog in?
No, the magic dwarves of Narvi were constructed with the aid and assistance of Celebrimbor, and it was meant to be a symbol of the cultural um, combination of cooperation and friendship and that really happy place when the elves of Eregion were in a really happy place with the dwarves, and there was much trade, hustle, and bustle. And we're talking, you're going to need a bigger boat, right? You're
Yeah.
going to need a bigger gate
Where's
because there's more economic trade and more cultural trade between the elves and the dwarves. So you're going to need a bigger boat. I mean,
got it. So where is the Battle of Azanul Bazaar?
oh, the one that was pictured in the extended edition of the Desolation of Smaug,
Yes.
the Battle of Azanil. Oh, I pronounced it wrong because you pronounced it wrong. It is over by the East Gate. It
The
is
other gate.
over on the other side of the mountains. Yes,
Okay.
Azanul Bazaar. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Oh,
right.
and you know what's interesting? Look at Mac Juice and I know I'm mispronouncing his name. Mac Juice says, well, they did not need to have two Durins alive at the same time, and it is a problem that they do. So they should have a Narvi, a separate person to be Narvi. And look, they put all those actors up there. A couple of weeks ago, you know that one of those new actors we were discussing has got to be Narvi.
Yeah, for sure. Um, did fans have a big issue with there being two Durans, or was that a change that was palatable at the same time? Two Durans at the same time. Oh, you're muted.
It was only palatable to the people who didn't know about it. It was very unpalatable to the book fans who are like, wait a minute, if one Durin is supposed to be a reincarnation of a far previous Durin, then why are they both alive here at the same time? It's still a head
Yeah,
scratcher. It's a
I'm
real
okay
head
with. Look,
scratcher.
I'm okay with it. It's not lore breaking. I thought it adds to it. Like, I hope Durin is a title, right? Like he just stripped him of his name, Durin. So I
Hmm.
maybe in future episodes it's no longer Durin and Disa. It's whatever we said earlier in the show, Teleg, Zelig, Doom, and Disa. Who knows? Um.
Okay. Well, anyways, I think that
Anyways.
that the Narvi character is going to be brand new. But what's interesting is how are they going to take that season one, like the anger of the elder Durin, especially the anger at his
I am
son.
so excited for older Durin to
Yeah,
have a major role. Peter Mulan
yeah, he is
was
amazing. He's
it, Peter
fantastic.
Mulan. Peter Mullen
Peter Mullen, he's
is one
fantastic.
of my favorite actors in Westworld. He was featured in season 2 of Westworld. He played
Yeah,
the dad that he
yeah,
played the rich guy that buys out Westworld when they needed money, right? So
yes, yes, that's
he's
right.
the dad, um, or the father-in-law. I am a big fan of this actor. I'm a big fan of his anger and ferocity and his
Yep,
gentleness. The dude can
yes.
be gentle and then turn and just be as angry as like fearful.
When he said and when he screamed almost the word enough at both Elrond and Durin, I was like,
That was the most emotion we'd ever got in the season 1. It was like finally someone has some emotion in this dang cavern. Like
it was brilliant. He's brilliant. I got to say, he's brilliant.
I,
And
I hope he
I
has.
wonder, but I wonder how it's going to change. How in season two is his explosive anger going to change to the point where relations with all the elves of Eregion is much more open and starts to flourish some more.
So
I wonder how that's going to change.
what? So speaking of second names, you know who else has a second name in Moria? The Balrog. He is also called
Durin's Bane,
because he.
because he slew Durin.
So
Yes, Durin doesn't survive.
now that young Durin has been stripped of his title and maybe
Mhm.
his name Durin,
Yeah,
maybe
but the,
maybe the Balrog has now been set up to eat Daddy Durin.
that happens in the third age. None of that is relative to the
It
second
needs to
age.
happen in this show. I'm telling you,
It's not. It
timelines
doesn't happen. No, it
timelines
doesn't
don't
happen.
matter. We
No,
need
no,
Durin
no,
and Balrog.
no,
Daddy Durin
no.
and Balrog need to have an
You
epic
think you need.
fight. No,
You have perhaps convinced yourself that you need, but you want to piss off a lot of fans, then you bring that third age destruction of Khazad-dûm, and if you put that anywhere near the second age, look, the dwarves are going to have to survive to come into the battle in Eregion when Sauron and his forces openly bring war against Celebrimbor and the elves of Eregion. And the dwarves are not going to be burned into a cinder by the Balrog. They have to be alive and well to participate in this great conflict that happens. So come on,
I man,
come on.
as a
Chat room,
television viewer and
are you with me?
occasional
Chat room, are you with
as a
me?
television viewer, I need Balrog and Durin to fight. But also, remember in The Mandalorian and the Boba Fett show that Star Wars did, They had Boba Fett tame a Rancor. I could also be okay with Daddy Durin taming the Rancor, or maybe Baby Durin, maybe Owain Arthur taming a Balrog and using the Balrog to defend Moria against Sauron. And maybe Sauron never takes over Moria because the Balrog fights on behalf of the dwarves, but then no one can control the Balrog, and he eventually gets bored and eats Durin. That's how I would play this show.
Jen, she said, thank you, my dear friend in the live chat said, no, I've said it once before and I'll say it again. Timelines do matter. Yeah, thank you.
Not
Do
with a
matter.
Balrog and Durin and Daddy Durin and three Durin, two Durins, three Durins.
Why are we still arguing about the three rings being made prematurely? We are still arguing about that as fans.
Well, yeah,
Okay?
okay, I get that.
The three rings were made out of order. Okay? Durin is alive when the other Durin is still alive. That means there's no reincarnation. So that's taking the metaphysics of the world and tossing it out, just tossing it out the window.
Okay,
And we still don't know why. We don't know why. And the timeline matters because at a certain point, Sauron is going to capitulate to our Pharazôn, and he will agree to being taken captive. And
he's already been taken captive in season 1.
Briefly, as what? A foreshadowing of being taken captive? But then he befriends.
It's like poetry.
He befriends and becomes the ultimate trusted advisor of the king of Numenor. And then it becomes ugly, incredibly tragic, really tragic.
Weet-Bix, you're taking
that's
this
the
too
story.
far, Weet-Bix. All right.
Oh,
okay.
Well, well, let's see.
People are saying that Balrog is a demon and a Maiar, and a Rancor is just an animal, and there's no similarity between a Rancor and a Balrog.
That is a fair statement.
In a cinematic world,
that's a fair
that's
statement.
not how I see it. He's just a big thing that goes rawr. That's all I know, and he has horns. All right, Cliff, I have this next segment is actual news.
Okay.
No gossip here. Well, yes, there is gossip. So it's good news and bad news at the same time, Cliff.
Let's have it.
So, man, it feels good and it just feels bad. So here we go. Check out. This next segment is awards season has come to Rings of Power, and we're happy to report that on Elon's new Twitter, Rings of Power is officially a gold-stamped verified account. This account is verified because it's an official business on Twitter. You hear that? Lord of the Rings of Power is an official gold star on, or I guess a gold ring, a gold spiky ring. But the first thing is, you might have seen the Screen Actors Guild Awards this weekend. No, not this one. Hold on. Critics' Choice Awards were this weekend. Ismael Cruz Cordova was nominated alongside some wonderful people. Unfortunately, he didn't win, but he lost to Giancarlo Esposito for his role in Better Call Saul. So, Cliff, I said this was going to be good news and bad news. Good news, Ismael Cruz Cordova is the first actor nominated for Rings of Power. Bad news is he lost to Giancarlo. But come on, what a privilege to be nominated.
Yep, a privilege, and imagine being like all the insane racist response that was given to Ismael Cruz Cordova, and yet he was so fantastic in the show, and the Rings of Power benefited greatly from his presence. His character was smoldering action, and he was burning hot to the touch. He was it. He had the it factor. We talked about this before. It is amazing that he is the one who has risen to the top of critics' attention.
He literally is the next Orlando Bloom.
Because the cream will rise to the top. The cream of the crop will rise to the top, baby.
The cream of the crop.
He is such a fantastic Wonderful, wonderful
Well,
addition. And what's interesting, even though this is a point of departure from the lore that I find that I appreciate, the suggestion that Bronwyn and Arondir have had such a relationship that that boy Theo might actually be his son. And yet the other, conflicting reports is that Bronwyn is going to admit in season 2 that Theo was adopted. He
well,
was
but
adopted. And
back to
that's
Ismail Cruz Cordova. Cliff, the
but
big rumor for
it's
season two is that he's not even coming back for season two.
that's right. But he was that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, he was one of the best things about season 1. And here he is not coming back at all.
For
That's a
season
head
two,
scratcher.
so
That's a head scratcher.
the
Yeah.
industry, the critics in the industry of Hollywood has said, "Hey, congrats, Amazon! You found a sparkling diamond in the rough. Ismael Cruz Cordova has got the goods." And what do? They sideline him for season two.
Weird.
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 All
Weird.
right.
Very weird.
Uh,
But
so so
he
next,
is awesome. He is awesome.
Cliff. They nominated the Screen Actors Guild Awards. Nominated Rings of Power for outstanding stunt ensemble. All the
Yes.
stunties got
Yes. Yes.
nominated.
Yeah, they deserve it. You know what's cool is the Screen Actors Guild is doing that. Don't you think it's about time the Oscars literally open up and have stunt performers get an Oscar? I love this new category. I
Well,
think it's great. It's great.
here's the bad news, Cliff. After
Mm.
getting nominated as the second performing performers award nomination for Rings of Power, uh, Amazon has fired the entire stunt team because they were all Kiwis in New Zealand, and now they've moved production to the UK, and none of the stunt people have moved over. So
That is so weird.
the entire nominated stunt ensemble is not involved in season two.
Irony. As Bender, the robot, once said in Futurama, that, my friend, is irony. You know, because look, you've got Adar, and he's gone. Joseph Maul is gone,
The
and
best of the bad
the
guys.
best of the bad guys,
He's
he's not
gone.
coming back. And you've got the amazing, stunning prosthetic orcs led by
Hang on. We're not done. We're not done. All right, hold
these
that thought.
powerhouse
Hold
performances.
that
All
thought.
these
Hold
stunties
that thought. So,
and the stunt
so
performers made it magic. They
Arondir
made it
Ismael
magic.
Cruz Cordova got nominated, and he's out of
Yes.
season two. The
Oh my
stunt
gosh.
team got nominated, and they're out of season two. Cliff, guess what? The Costume
What?
Designer Guild has nominated Kate Hawley for her costumes in Rings of Power. We've just learned that she is no longer involved in the show.
Oh my gosh, really? You mean all of their award-winning people are not on the show anymore?
Kate Hawley has
That
left the
is
show. I believe she got other work and the schedules just didn't work out. So Kate Hawley, the
okay.
nominated costume designer for
Okay,
Rings of
okay,
Power,
okay.
is not coming back
Wow.
for season two. Cliff, we're not
Wow.
done yet. The what is this?
This is crazy pants.
We've
This is
got
crazy
one
pants.
hour single camera series for production design. The Production Designer Awards have nominated Andor, House of the Dragon, Stranger Things, and The Rings of Power. Cliff, I hate to tell you this, but Ramsey Avery, the production designer for Rings of Power, is not coming back
He's
for
not
season
coming
two.
back.
He's already off
Ramsey,
the show.
you're, you know what?
Ramsey Avery's off the show, and he just got nominated for a Production Designer Award.
you have got to be shitting me. I'm sorry to use that kind of language because we don't usually use that kind of language in our Tolkien show,
Wait,
but
Cliff, I'm not
no.
done yet. I'm not done yet.
Oh, stop.
As
You're kidding me.
as of today, the Visual
Why?
Effects Society has given 7 nominations to the visual effects team at Rings of Power, including outstanding visual effects in an episode, outstanding created environment, simulations, compositing. All of these
Wow.
nominations for the Visual Effects Awards are for Weta. Weta is currently not involved in season two. Rings of Power. It is
Oh my
only
goodness.
ILM. So
Oh my goodness.
Weta is rounding out are nominated for top quality work, and they are not involved in season two. Cliff, let me just go back through this list. So Weta got nominated for visual effects awards. They're not involved in season two. Ramsey Avery, production designer, nominated, not involved in season two. Kate Hawley, nominated for costumes, not involved in season two. Stunt ensemble, nominated for a SAG award, not involved in season
Wow.
two. Ismael Cruz Cordova, nominated for the only actor nominated for Rings of Power, not involved in season two.
And he's
Cliff,
not coming back either. What do you think is going on that they worked so hard to cultivate these amazing people? And you know that it took a lot of effort for the production to find and bring in
the
an
best.
amazing team.
They bought
The,
in the best, and we
they
gave
wanted
this
the best.
show.
They got the money for it. They said, "We
Look,
want the best.
our
We want the
our
best."
report card, gives straight A's to effects, costume design, production
Yes.
design, quality
Yes.
of work, like
Yes.
cinematography. Like we gave it straight A's on all of those creative environments. Cliff,
That is deeply, deeply confusing. And you could go further and say it's troubling. It's not just confusing, because I don't see the logic behind it. You could, with a fair argument, say this is troubling that the top tier people they brought in who brought that level of excellence to the program and they're not back for season two. It's very strange. You know what? These are strange days. Strange days indeed. Somebody recently told
I
me strange days, and I thought, oh, you mean that really interesting Catherine Bigelow directed movie with Rafe Fine?
now on
And
HBO, which is a great movie by the way.
it's a great movie. Yeah, it's a great, but no, strange days means that you're looking at things that you cannot fathom. I cannot figure this out. Justin, do you have a decent conjecture on what they're doing now? Why is it everybody in the New Zealand crew could not be migrated or repopulated over to the UK infrastructure? Come on.
We have talked,
Come on.
Cliff, we have talked to some of the actors, the New Zealand-based actors, the Kiwi stunt people. We have talked to them um,
Yes.
about
Yes.
their involvement in season two, and we've heard that Amazon was not helping with uh, work visas to
Mm,
or travel and accommodations. So basically, Amazon said, "Hey, if you can get here, if you can move from New Zealand and come to the UK, uh, we'll find a place for you. We just won't pay for your housing or your flight, but if you can get here, yeah, maybe, you know. Oh, you also, yeah, you have to figure out the work visa for yourself, which is basically
mm,
Amazon kind of saying
mm,
you're like, nah." So anyway,
Okay.
I
All right.
don't like
Well,
Cliff. I want to be enthusiastic. I want to be enthusiastic for the show. I want to be the defender
well,
of Rings of Power. I want to love this show so much. But the best part we just saw, one, two, three, four, five categories of nominations, and
that's mind-bending.
all of them have
That's
already been
mind-bending.
let go from the show.
But they also represent the best work that the show had.
The best,
So,
and add on to that, Adar, Joseph Mall, some of the
Adar.
best acting in the show. That is six of the best parts of this show, of season one, just
Mm,
thrown in the trash, gone
mm,
away.
mm, mm.
So
Eh, eh,
I want to thank the Hollywood. I want to thank Hollywood for recognizing great work, because you know what? No matter what people say or criticize about the show, it
mhm.
looks like it should. It sounds like it should. No one's
Yep,
ever done television at this scale and scope,
that's
and
true.
I
To
am
their credit.
I'm
To their
still
credit.
impressed. To
Yes.
their
Yep.
credit, and
I am still impressed too with that. Yes.
Amazon, you know,
Yes.
they put you know, they do Michael Bay movies, and they put Star Lord in half their movies, and you know, they didn't put any stars in this. Amazon actually made an effort and said we're going to spend $1 billion and we're going to do it right. And we're going to cast unknown but quality actors. We're going to hire all the right
Mm,
people. And they did
mm-hmm,
that. Now
mm-hmm.
what are they doing, dude? What are they doing?
They even listened to the fans and they brought Howard Shore back to do a beautiful and understated opening theme, which is still elegant, very elegant and beautiful. And here we are with all the elements in place. And now, as we move into season two, it really doesn't feel like they have all the elements in place in terms of the staff and the production
They,
crew.
the
And
there's so much we've complained about. Fans are complaining, still complaining about the show, and I'm sure there's going
mm,
to be new critiques from Fellowship of Fans and Nerd of the Rings and a bunch of other people. You might even have a season one review article in the coming weeks.
oh, I
So
will.
we're still going to tell you what we really feel went right and went wrong with the show. But I can tell you getting nominated means you did right by the show. And the fact that every single nomination for this show is for people that are no longer on the show, I'm just what are you doing? What are you doing? Like
I
you
hear you.
got gold, you got it. You got gold. Hang on to it. If they need a pay raise, pay them. Like what is going on here?
If they need a visa, give them a travel visa. If if Jed Brophy needs, and any of those stunt performers need to come to England and do the best possible orcs for your season two, then bring them, do it. You can
Bring
afford to get that stuff done. You guys can do that. But look, the television show overall is appealing. It has a strong, naturally, naturally appealing quality as one of the most vibrant and epic, really epic scaled fantasy television projects ever put to task, ever. And I give them a lot of credit for what they accomplished. And in the same breath, I will grouse and complain about issues within the script and within the way that certain lore and characters are handled. So you take the good and bad and you just make the best of it and enjoy yourself. Just enjoy the ride. Like I've said for years, let's just enjoy the ride. But
and
there are so many unanswered questions.
yeah. And
So
look,
many.
to respond to some people in the chat, look, we on the previous episode we went real deep with the situation with Joseph Mall. There's no one person to blame. It's a complicated situation for everybody involved. So there isn't one reason, and there isn't one thing or person to blame. It's just it didn't work out. And the other thing is Bear McCreary.
Mhm.
Like hopefully they've called him. We
Is he
really like
confirmed?
what he did. I
Is he
hope
confirmed?
he's
Is he
not
coming
confirmed.
back?
He has not been confirmed.
Oh, come on, guys. Bear McCreary, of all people, like with the rest of your
Just give us
leading
a little
actors,
win. Just
yeah,
give.
the rest of the leading actors and your composer have to stay. Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
We're just not getting the information from certain quadrants. You know how funny it is? We're back where we were 22 years ago, getting spy reports on the internet from instead of getting the official information. It's just so funny. It's kind of cool, though, in that aspect.
Well,
Very cool.
20 years ago, it was after Fellowship had come out, and then you had second season two, no, episode two, no, Two Towers on deck, and we started getting rumors and then pictures of Arwen at Helm's Deep, and the fans really let their opinions known.
Hmm.
So we don't have any leaks of that scale yet. But
Not yet.
Joseph Mall is going to be good, folks, because he has joined the cast of Harrison Ford's Yellowstone spinoff. Was it 1923
I
or
think it's 18.
no? 1883 is the other one. Harrison Ford is in a 1920s version spinoff.
Yes.
So Joseph Mall has joined the cast of Harrison Ford's Yellowstone show,
Hmm.
1923 or 28 or something
With
like that,
Dame Helen Mirren as
with Dame
well as
Helen Mirren.
yeah.
1923, yeah. So
Okay.
Joseph's going to be
Cool.
good. and he was one of the best parts of Game of Thrones. So
Matt, hello, Matt in the chat says, I'm pretty sure that Bear McCreary has mentioned in quotes already that he's working on themes, musical themes for season two.
thank
Thank you, Matt.
goodness.
That's good to know. Super good to know.
So
Um,
anyway, so Cliff, that's the big news. I told you we had a packed show of news.
we do.
Um,
We
uh,
tr-
so
and
it
speculation and some weirdness, but that's what we do around here.
some leaks from Fellowship of Fans. Pelar Gear, I think he called it. The fans in the chat room have called it. You called it. I think it's our first glimpse at the first town of
Yep.
Gondor, the what is to become Gondor, um, and
Yeah. Well,
and
you could think of the port city of New Orleans that was built at the end of the Mississippi River Delta,
yeah,
and you may not, or maybe make a loose analogy that the River Anduin is like the Mississippi River, a massive, massive alluvial river system
yes,
that goes and it causes drainage for the entire continental plain of the United States. And so the River Anduin also has many tributaries from the mountains, the Misty Mountains, and tributaries from the north, the northern mountains, the Gray Mountains, way up there, which I think where Smaug, the dragon, and all the dragons came from.
and
And it that at the end of that river is a massive delta, and that is a place where you would build a decent port city. I mean, you guys have played Civilization enough to know where to build a port city,
Civ
right?
4, baby. Um,
Civ 6, 6. Okay.
so and then finally we showed you what the actor we think Celeborn is, and of course Dr. Nosey's scoop of his code name, which basically confirms that we have a code name for Tom Bombadil, and we have a code name for Celeborn, and we have an actor that looks just like Martin Sokus. So we're
Yep.
calling it. We have Celeborn. We have him cast. Who knows how or what they're going to incorporate him into the story because they've basically erased the whiteboard of his history. So they, like the showrunners, the writers of the show found a way to just completely erase an entire character's lore history so they
Hmm.
can write from scratch. But Cliff, these awards, look, I hope Rings of Power deserves some of these awards, but boy boy does it sting that none
That
of
they
these
didn't get
people
any.
are involved in season two.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that. And you know what, Justin? It's not so often that you and I wholeheartedly agree, and we do on this. We do on this point.
You didn't think I
So
was going to keep going.
I can't I can't believe that so much. Well, look, when you build an infrastructure for a big production like this, it takes so much effort to get these things and to retain the people and the crew and the artistic collaborations that people work better with. And if you can't retain it and all these people are leaving the production, then you have to start over again from scratch
and
and
that's
build another set of departments and then more department heads. And then they got to come in and build new
And that's
relationships
what
with the
happened
craftspeople.
with the
And it goes,
decision to move, right? The decision to
yeah,
move away because
yeah.
we know from the contracts that we've seen with the government in New Zealand, we know that
Mhm.
the original intent was to shoot at least 3 seasons up to the whole series in New Zealand. The original intent,
Indeed.
contracts were signed, tax
Yeah.
rebates were offered. We're
And
talking
accepted.
accepted. Yeah, we're talking
Yes, they were.
vendors, companies move their businesses to be closer to Amazon's production in Auckland at great expense, by the way. A lot of people bet their business on 10 years, 5 to 10 years of Lord of the Rings work. And when they decided to just up and move to UK, you've seen it. You've seen it here. Everybody nominated for this show is no longer on the show.
I'm scratching my head again, yet
Anyway,
again.
life goes on, says
I
Cecilia,
can't
and so
I
does this
can't
show.
figure it out.
We do this every week, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. We hope you stay tuned this week. I have it on good authority from Spies over on YouTube that Nerd of the Rings will have his 1 hour plus epic review of of the season one Rings of Power, and
Wow.
I'm really interested in hearing his perspective because his entire channel, 800,000 subscribers, has been about the lore. Every video is about a different part of Tolkien's lore. So
Yeah.
so how does he
And
view this show?
I'm wondering because I'm viewing it through the perspective of a larger canvas of popular culture, as well as I'm observing it through my deeply personal attachments to the stories of J.R.R. Tolkien and my understanding of the world of Arda and how it all works. From the top down, I understand how Arda and all these things, languages, metaphysics, spirituality, and character character building and themes and the execution of plot. I'm very familiar with everything that Tolkien has been giving us, and I would like to publish in I'm just as excited about Matt Nerd of the Rings sharing these views with us. I'm excited to put down on paper what it is that we love and really want to embrace about Tolkien and those qualities of the Rings of Power that best exemplified that. And there's quite a few things, but it's also worth discussing a lot of targets that they missed and, some easy, low-hanging fruit that they missed and didn't do in
Or
the show.
ignored, or just
And
chopped
and
off?
or decided that they were better than to even try to bother doing
Yeah.
it. But it's an interesting conversation to have.
Well,
And
Finrod,
thank you, Matt. Thank you, Nerd of the Rings, for all the work you put into it.
yeah, Finrod84 says, I'm showing my wifey Avatar 2 on Thursday. Folks, I can't recommend that movie enough. Avatar 2 is one of the greatest theatrical experiences you'll ever have at the movie going cinema. See it in 3D, see it in high frame rate. It's way better than The Hobbit high frame rate. And you know what? On the business end of things, it is our understanding that Weta has owns a piece of this movie. So the $2 billion success of Avatar goes right back into Weta and keeping
Mhm.
our favorite effects house in business and employing hundreds and thousands of wonderful artists. And if you've ever wanted to work for Weta, now that Avatar has made $2 billion, and maybe they'll get Rings of Power season two. We haven't heard any confirmation yet.
Mhm.
Now's a good time to spruce up your creative resume if you want to work with James Cameron or Lord of the Rings. Now's the time. So to get a job. So go see
Yes,
Avatar.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Go see Avatar. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been an very exciting and energized show, as it always is. We are Torn Tuesday, giving you the best, the best and some of the worst of Tolkien news and gossip all around the internet, and a very good session we had tonight. Thank you, Justin, for helping us put the show together. And I want to say thank you to the faithful audience who come to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's super good stuff. Now, what do we do with, you know, I want to have our friends come together soon. Matt and Fellowship of Fans and other YouTube content creators. And we should just have a big powwow, all of us, where we talk after I publish my review and Matt, Nerd of the Rings, he uploads his review. We should all get together sometime soon, a bunch of us online content creators, and let's just have a big coffee clutch. And we'll talk about how we really, really feel after all this stuff is published and out in the open, and we can have a really invigorating conversation. I think that's a cool idea. We should bring some people together in this forum to have a nice live stream on a Tuesday. Let's do that soon. I think that'd be great.
Very good. All right.
Mm.
We'll
Are
see you
we ready to
next
say
week.
goodnight, everybody? We are ready to say goodnight. Yes. What do you want to do, Justin? Do you want to leave any little bombs of wisdom? Any strange reveals that you want to leave at the end of the show?
I just
No?
have a feeling. I just have a feeling. My opinion. I've shared my opinions on the show many times. I have a
Yes.
feeling that Matt's long review is going to make me want to watch the show again. Maybe for a love watch, maybe for a hate watch, maybe to find out if I agree or disagree with some of his statements. And that's the best thing a good review can do. A review, a good, well written review, whether it's positive or negative, thumbs up or thumbs down, a
Yep.
good, a good, well written review or well edited review will make you
Yes.
want to go watch and say, hey, watch it again and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I do agree with that, or maybe I don't agree with that. So looking forward to
Yeah.
that. Take
You
us
know what,
out, Cliff.
Justin? I love that. I love when you get possessed by the ghost of Pauline Kael. That's great. Very good. Who used to write movie reviews for the New York Times, just so you guys understand that. Thank you, Justin, for that. And thank you, everyone, for being, again, our faithful audience. Nice to have you guys here. And oh, of Gondor, you're the best. Didn't last week end on a good topic, but Cliff had to leave? Yeah, I did. I had to run. We had things that were going on and doing. Um, but we're gonna get back to more mischief and we're gonna manage it. Next week we'll be here on Torn Tuesday, so come and join us at 5 o'clock Pacific time, everybody, here at theonering.net. If you want to find me online, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and other places at QuickBeam2000. And Justin, he doesn't even want to do that stuff anymore. So follow us on all of our socials. Come and join us at the One Ring Net on Twitter and other platforms and our Discord as well. We'll see you guys there, okay? Until next week, be safe and take good care of yourselves. As I like to say, good night and good luck. Or better yet, buenos noches y buena suerte. Bye, everybody.
How about that Discord debate?